Let's keep going now with some unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces are exactly what they sound like. One force is going to be bigger than the other because they're no longer balanced. Now, this means I have a value for F net. There will be acceleration. This makes sense. As soon as one force is greater than the others, it overcomes and will create an acceleration. Now, when we go to look at this situation, I have a car and it's accelerating. So I'm going to draw my dot for my car. And there's two things I can say automatically. Yes, I have a force of gravity, no problem. And yes, I have a normal force. These are going to be the same. They will equal to each other because I know they have to be, right? These are not my forces causing the acceleration. They're not accelerating up or down. It's just staying level. So that means they are not the ones that are out of balance. Then I'm going to think about my other pair. My other pair are going to be my applied force going forwards. And in this case, the applied force is being applied by the engine. And it's going to be a big, big force. It's going to have a large applied force. There we go. And in the opposite direction will be friction. But in this case, friction is not as large. The applied force is much larger than the friction force. So I'm going to draw it that way. When you draw unbalanced forces, exaggerate them a bit. Make sure it's clear which is bigger than the others. If when being marked these kind of questions, if you have to guess, that's not so good. Now this means I now have a net force, and I can calculate that net force if I know the values of the forces, because my net force will always be whatever's moving me forward, in this case, my applied force, minus whatever's slowing me down, in this case, my friction force. Now, a lot of people want to use this as a constant equation, but it's not a constant equation. This is situational. This happens to have an applied force and a friction force, so they're both there. That's important to realize. We create our net force based on what forces happen to be present at the time.